So here is the BP Ultimate Grid for race 2 of the BNT V8s, and on the front row yet again, John McIntyre and Craig Baird. How will they play together this time?
Row 2 sees the two young chargers, Andy Knight and Tim Edgell.
And Tim Edgell making a great effort so far this weekend, and Andy Booth made up 5 places in the last race. He's alongside Clark Proctor. Hopefully he's awake.
And then we have the readjusted grid, Eddie Bow there, and of course Kane Scott. Sterling job from the back of the grid, absorbed that 5-second penalty, now starting 8th.
And there's John Hepburn. He's probably not the best friend of Dave Bernard at the moment, alongside Andrew Anderson.
Here are a couple of guys that are good friends, Darrow and Anderson, and of course Hayden McKenzie coming back into the championship again.
Hayden said he wants it to rain. Simon Richards and Dale Williams make up 14 and 13 respectively.
We then have John Penny, of course, after that huge wreck, and Angus Fogg. Just everything going wrong for him this weekend. Let's see if he can make amends.
So head back down the grid, Adam Brook and John Whelan and all Falcon row there.
We then have the hard charger, David Bernard. Look at that supercar driver, and then Christina Orr. Should be do best actually just jump in behind David, follow him through the traffic.
Yeah, watch out for Dave Bernard, he's not happy. David Hopper and Dave Stewart. Is there anyone not called Dave at the moment?
Seems to be. And then of course Paul Manuel and Nick Ross. Nick Ross had that huge engine explosion, so got a lot of work to do.
And there they line up, getting ready for the rolling start, following the big zone Mercedes AMG. They're hearing that go around the lap at the lunch break. It's one of the best sounding cars here, but it will get out of the way and let the big bangers do their work. And will we see something special from Craig Baird straight away? If he doesn't like being behind Johnny McIntyre, now's the time to act.
He's got to execute that move in turn 1, because if he doesn't, we're going to see status quo from race 1 as well, where they'll be lying astern, because it's going to take quite a desperate move on his part to make sure he gets that advantage. But you know, these guys are hard chargers, and this is where it's going to unfold.
And Johnny knows how to start these things from pole, so there's no issue that I think he'll probably get into turn 1 on the inside, and Beardo's going to have to find a way past.
It's what happens with row 2, because these are two young chargers, as we know, and they don't give an inch at any stage.
Here they go, they're away, and
yeah, just watch the
Edgell's pulled out on Baird. He's gone for a run in there, so Beardo's got a shocking start. Andy Knight is up the inside of him. They actually both got past. Andy Booth up into 3rd position. A lock up there from maybe Andy Knight. He's run a bit wide. Booth, he's up the inside here. No, but Andy Knight pulls into 2nd spot. Ooh. Touch going on there with Edgell and Booth.
Watch the Baird car. Will he actually get the jump there? Is this John Whelan going a little bit wide on turn 1? Nothing major in that.
Did Baird? No, he didn't. Baird has got back into 4th position, got ahead of Tim Edgell after that little touch-up between him and Andy Booth, so lost 2 spots at the start. That was a bit unexpected.
Bit of work to do now. They're all going to get through the hairpin, because this is the other place where it can all unfold for everybody. Kane Scott, so far so good.
Up behind Edgell, I think, so he's made, I think, got a couple of spots here.
Paul Proctor makes a big move there, going past Eddie Bell.
In the Toyota Falcon, there we go.
Now look out too for Paul Manuel here. He started from the very back of the grid. He had huge problems. A circuit breaker stopped his fuel really going to the engine, which doesn't really help pace at all. So
no, it doesn't.
He could do a bit of a Kane Scott. Expect him to make up a lot of places. Already he has. He looks like he's made up about 5 places in the first half of a lap. Yeah,
the Oryx Commodore will be charging through here. He won't be very happy. He's had a shocking weekend so far.
The good battle which is unfolding here is between Eddie Bow and Clark Proctor. They've swapped positions 3 times in this lap. These guys won't give an inch to each other, and they'll take the battle all the way through.
On board now with Angus Fogg as he tries to make up ground after a shocker in race 1. Well, he made up huge ground at Pukekohe. Can he do the same here in race 2? Otherwise, he could just leave it for the reverse grid.
Johnny Mack leads across the end of the 1st lap. Andy Knight close behind in 2nd place. So a great start by him. He'll be wrapped with that.
Some great jostling for position down the main straight as they set up for that very fast kink into turn 1, but yes, it looks very settled at the front now. Booth seems to have dropped away a bit from Knight and McIntyre.
The thing about Andy is now has to be defensive against Craig, and we see that just with the lock-up.
Now, I think that was Andy Knight again, I reckon, who may have gone off the road. He has. And that probably was a flat spot that he got on the 1st lap at the start going into turn 1. He definitely locked that wheel. He's locked it again there. I'd say it's got a flat spot on it by this time, and he's going to struggle to stop that from locking every time he goes into a left-hand corner now.
Here he goes, the big move from Andy Knight, locks up that inside front, way off.
He was late under brakes, very late under brakes there going in there. That's very disappointing. He was well set in 2nd position there.
Was that ever going to stick from that far back?
Well, I don't think he was trying to make a pass. I think he might have braked a little bit late potentially, or that left front, as I say, got a flat spot on it, and as soon as he hit the brake, maybe that limited his braking. Beardo up the inside of Booth, who's covered. These two are going to go at it.
It's not over. It's a drag race. Here we go. This is going to be the new Holden engine that we talked about at Pukekohe versus the Ford engine.
Beard's got an overlap, I reckon, on him. No, Andy has got the advantage still, so I think he was quite comfortable there. It looked like Beardo was going to get up the inside, but he hasn't managed to do it.
No, but what's going to happen here, Greg? Is look underneath him. Now will Craig get the car speed out of it in time without hitting him?
He's gone off.
Yeah.
That's a big mistake. I think he's gone a little bit too deep there, actually, and Beardo's forced the mistake big time.
Yeah, so Andy Booth trying to defend. He went well wide before that corner and just couldn't hold it under brakes. And there he goes. Craig Baird sneaks underneath, and he's up into second, chasing Johnny Mack. But look at this, Kane Scott now hunting Andy Booth.
Oh, Booth never really got to the apex, did he, into turn one?
No, it's like he did go a little bit deep, and he was a little bit offline, had a little bit too much lock on still when he hit the brake pedal and locked the inside front. So I think he'll be kicking himself with that one.
Yeah, well, there's actually something flying off the front of Andy's car on the left front there. Something just flapping around. Whether it's a bit of tyre, maybe starting to delaminate from it, I'm not too sure.
It's a great view from on board with Kane Scott as he attacks Andy Booth. I think he's smelled a bit of blood and he's going after him.
Well, Beardo's got out of jail here big time after that start. Guys, and something did just fly off the car there, Mark. You're absolutely right. So I'm not sure what that was, if that was some rubber or not. But Beardo has, after a shocking start, Booth locks a wheel again.
Yeah, maybe the flat spot you're talking about. And what the flat spot Greg's referring to is the tyres round like we've got in a road car.
Kane Scott's just
right around the outside.
That's a great move.
Now, he's flat a spot tyre that early in the race. It's going to be a very long race for him because every time he hits the brake, like we saw the Andy Knight car, it's going to pick up that flat area on the tyre and it's just going to keep smoking and locking like we see.
How good was that from Kane Scott around the outside on the smooth? Let's go on board with our race leader, Johnny McIntyre. He leads, but he's not quite the fastest at the moment. Craig Baird is the fastest car on the track, but this is what it's like for a lap of Talbot Hills Raceway with Johnny McIntyre as he goes into the kink before turn one. Look in the rearview mirror. He's well aware he's been chased out.
Just have a bit of a check. Yeah, he just had a little glance. He's got things reasonably well under control at the moment. A couple of second lead over Beardo, and not quite as much pressure as what he had in the first race.
Interesting, doing the gear count coming off turn one. He was actually using first gear, which is actually quite a slow gear to be using at this stage of the race. So maybe a little tyre degradation, maybe a little changing conditions just caught him out. But say normally second gear is the one you want to be in.
Big lose into one. Here we are talking about turn one. Adam Brook has a big lose into there, and I think he'll have flat spots on all of those tyres, not just the left front this time.
He was lucky there wasn't a flat spot on the side of the car. Some quick evasive moves from those behind him.
Johnny Mack in control out the front. I think most of the field are going to have to get pretty used to this season. He's obviously looking very dominant. Kane Scott's come through to third, which is a great drive by him, and he'll be keen to get some of those points.
Kane Scott, he's done all this hard work. He's essentially already done a reverse grid race, and now he's going to get near the front, and he's going to have to do it all over again.
He's going to head straight down the back again, absolutely.
Now we're on board the Fujitsu Heat Pumps Falcon with Kane Scott, the reigning champ. He hasn't had a great start to the season, comes into this round in 6th place. He's got some ground to make up.
He just had a look down at the dash there, probably just seeing the lap time that had flicked up on his dash, see what he was doing, and it was a pretty good lap time, fastest for that lap actually, only by a very, very small amount of time. These three guys trading fastest laps one after another.
Tim Edgell right on Andy Booth's tail. He was looking so good in second place, but he lured at turn one as so many did.
Andy Booth, I think he might have a bit of a problem. We'll have to find out after the race. He gave that away pretty easy, and I just wonder if we may have find out that he has got a drum with that left front.
Bit of word, there is a few spots of rain out on the circuit, so what's this going to do? They're all out on their slicks. I don't know, there's only 2 laps to go. Will it have much of an effect?
No, there'll be so much residual heat from all day because it's been so sunny that whatever lands will evaporate pretty quick unless it turns torrential. But given the fact there's 2 laps, these guys can drive in those conditions. If it gets a bit slippery, all they do is just drive the conditions.
So with a couple of laps to go, it's Johnny McIntyre ahead of Craig Baird with Kane Scott in 3rd, Andy Booth at top, Holden in 4th, then Tim Edgell, Andy Knight, Eddie Bell, Clark Proctor, Andrew Anderson, the next Holden back there, and Angus Fogg. He's made up some ground from the race, but it hasn't been pretty for him so far. And I just wonder if Boothie is having troubles, how wide is he making that Commodore right now?
He's doing his best, using every bit of his skill to hold out the young Tim Edgell. But Fogg very quick on that last lap. He's actually right up there with the leading guys and put in a very good lap time. So there's nothing wrong with the pace of his car.
These 3 have pulled away and they're actually showing how the class of their own. But this is the battle here. If Timmy can actually set a move up and get down the inside of Andy Booth, I don't think Andy's going to lose 1 place. I think he's going to lose 3 or 4 because the freight train will come through. And this is the run I'm talking about. They're going to get down the inside. Well, what's going to happen here? Can't go one way, certainly try the other. Oh, God,
used a lot of curve. So Anderson's had to block. He's had to go to the inside to cover Fogg after he hit the curb very heavily there. Now, so he's done well. 2 cars can actually drive around the outside. Not in this instance, though. Andrew Anderson under a lot of pressure from Angus Fogg, and the best thing he can do is keep his eyes off that rear view mirror and just drive his race.
The car of Anderson's, I think, is in brake trouble because you see him pumping the brake pedal in the straights.
Yeah, he's got the rear.
Andrew Anderson defending against Angus Fogg.
Oh, they both hit
curves. Follow the leader.
One just got through there a little bit better, but you can see the few rain spots actually on Foggy's window, so it's definitely getting a little bit of moisture out there, but again, probably not enough to affect anything just yet.
No, and the problem that Angus had there, of course, is he's unsighted going to that corner because all he sees in front of him is the ITM Holden. So when Andrew hit it, Angus had no option as well because he's just following the tracks all the way through.
So on board again inside. On board again with Angus Fogg.
You're right,
he's pinned.
And Andrew Anderson did pump those brakes again. He's got his foot on that brake pedal a fair bit there, so maybe he has got a bit of an issue with those brakes.
Yeah, and I tell you, there's some, looking at that, I think Craig Baird is still the fastest car on the circuit. He's, in fact, almost half a second quicker than Johnny McIntyre's fastest lap, but we're in the last lap now. I don't know if he's got time to catch him, and there we see, Fogg's got past.
Foggy's made the move down the straight, obviously got underneath Andrew in the ITM Commodore and gained another spot. There's nothing wrong with the speed of that car.
Eddie Bell looking around the outside of Andy Knight, but there's no way through the up and under. Nope. Still racing on the last lap. Johnny McIntyre looks home and clear so far, even though Craig Baird is the fastest car on the circuit. That start has just hurt him right through the race.
As I say, he was let out of jail there, Alberto, because he was looking like a 4th spot there for quite a while, but managed to fox his way through the younger guys and work his way up to 2nd spot again.
And of course, you know, it helped by some of the falling off, but Craig's caught up. But this is not the fact Johnny's in trouble. Johnny knows it's the last lap here. He's only got 1 corner to execute before he wins his 2nd race of the weekend. There is a little bit of drizzle. He's just been conservative and doing what he's paid to do, and that's win races.
And there he goes, Johnny McIntyre. He got his first ever pole position here. Won the race 1. Now he's run race 2 ahead of Craig Baird, the same one too. But what about Kane Scott? Unbelievable, from dead last in the first race to get on the podium in race 2. There is Angus Fogg. He did some work. He got up to 10th, but you know, it's still not really working out for him. Johnny McIntyre seems to have everything down there. Good on you, mate. We know.
Yeah, another very controlled drive there, and you know, got a great start. Dominated from the front, and that's where he wants to be. No one in front of him, and the reverse grid will be very interesting.
It always is. It's just guaranteed entertainment, and it does continue to amaze me in a class that's so competitive how they do manage to get through. So So 2 from 2 for Johnny Mack ahead of Craig Baird. Kane Scott, as we mentioned earlier, what a great move he's made from dead last, blowing his engine. Trouble in race 1, but it didn't stop him from making up ground, and he's on the podium for race 2. Andy Booth in 4th. He could have been up higher, but he messed up turn 1 earlier in the race. And there we say Andrew Anderson finishing 10th for race 2 of the BNT V8s.